All right, we're going to have to talk about Ron DeSantis' boots. Y'all have made me do it because so many people have been sending me clips and pictures of Ron DeSantis in his boots and saying, Brando, what is up with this guy's boots? I mean, if you look at him, it looks like the toes are kind of curled up. It's almost like the old wrestler, the Iron Sheik's boots that had a little curly Q on the end of them. It's like, unless Ron DeSantis' toes are absolutely flat, there's clearly something going on. And a lot of people are suggesting that he has heels built into these boots to elevate him, to make him a little bit taller, because in Ron DeSantis' world, that's what he's worried about, is whether or not he looks tall enough. See, Ron DeSantis is thinking ahead here. And he's thinking, I want to be president one day, and I might get to go up and debate Joe Biden. And when I do, I sure as hell don't want to walk up there and shake hands with him and be having to look up at him. Now, I'm not here to short shame anyone. As a matter of fact, I'm here to do the exact opposite. But what I want to point out is this. People aren't looking down on Ron DeSantis because of his height. They're looking down on Ron DeSantis because of his ideas. They see what he's done in Florida, and people do not want that on the national stage. They saw how he has weaponized the government against American companies. They saw how he wants to do away with critical race theory and rewrite history and tell our children that the slaves benefited from slavery. They learned some good carpentry skills. And they see the war that he has declared on the gay and trans community. And they want no part of that. That's why they look down on Ron DeSantis. It's got nothing whatsoever to do with his height. They also see through his anti-woke bullshit. They see through that whole game. They see through that whole angle. More and more people are waking up to the whole anti-woke idea. Because what they've done with this, folks, is they've done everything they can to demonize woke and keep people in the dark. And I saw so many people who I once admired and had respect for fall into this trap and become part of these anti-woke mobs. And a lot of times it's because of the way the questions gets framed to them. They'll be on some talk show somewhere, and someone like Bill Maher will say, well, did you not hear about the high school that put a litter box in the bathroom because a child identified as a cat? And somebody will go, that sounds kind of crazy, without realizing that that story was bullshit and there wasn't a word of truth to it. They do these things to demonize woke, and they do these things so that you will stay in the dark, and so that you won't be aware, and so that you won't care. If they can show you the most radical cases they can find, or just cook up and lie and fabricate the most radical ideas they can find, then they do that because they want you to turn a blind eye when they do away with critical race theory. They want you to turn a blind eye when they go after the gay and trans community. That's the whole reason why so many people are on this anti-woke bandwagon and trying to drive that point home so hard. It's because they want to keep you complacent, they want to keep you in the dark, and they want to keep in control of what it is that they're doing for the people that looks and sounds exactly like them. Ron DeSantis' height is the least of my worries. I've never looked at a candidate anywhere and was worried about their height. I've never been worried about their weight. I've never been worried about their hairdo. I mean, although Donald Trump does have a pretty fucked up hairdo, I still, that's not why I voted against Donald Trump, was because of his ridiculous hair. I voted against Donald Trump because of his ideas. And if Ron DeSantis ever makes it to the national stage, I will vote against him because of his ideas, and it's got nothing to do with how tall he is. You know, one of his fellow Floridians, Ronnie Van Zant, lead singer of Lynyrd Skynyrd, he went barefoot his entire career. He was short. He was the shortest one in the band. He didn't give a shit. And nobody cared. You know why? Because he was a badass. He was a badass. He was a badass frontman and a badass songwriter and singer. And nobody gave a damn that he was shorter than Alan Collins, the lead guitar player. No one cared. Because on stage he was bigger than any of them. And if your ideas are good and what you stand for is good, you'll be tall enough. So, on another note, I don't care that Ron DeSantis wears the boots either. If it makes him feel better about himself, go for it. I don't care. Wear some boots if that's what you feel like you need to do. But that's not why people are looking down on you. Your height's got nothing to do with it. It's your fascist ideas. And that's what Ron DeSantis needs to wake up and realize. And more people needs to start really looking at it and seeing in to this whole anti-woke movement that's happening out there. It's all put in place and it's all designed to get you to turn a blind eye to what other people are going through, and to get you outraged and to get you mad about the things that you're going through to the point that you stop caring about someone else. I one time saw a clip. I've never come back across it, but I saw a clip one time of a guy talking about the electric blanket. And he said the electric blanket was a great invention because it kept people warm. But the problem with the electric blanket, if you had one long enough, you forgot what it was like to be cold. And I always kept that in the back of my mind. So when we go to the polls to vote, even though we may have on our own electric blanket, we need to keep in mind that there's other Americans who are cold. So I don't care about Ron DeSantis' boots one way or the other. It's his ideas that I'm against, and it's his ideas that I will always be on here making content talking about.